Howdy, Cadre. I'm totally unprepared for this video, but that's part of the point, isn't it? Um, let's start with my current profile pic, maybe. It's an art project that I did in college, in art school. Um, and the concept behind it is I was thinking a lot about art, and I think every artist needs input and learning to be able to create. So there's a kind of artist cycle of paying attention to the world, observing and learning from it, and meditation, contemplation, and then to switch to a creative mode takes a different part of your brain, and I'm not going to just divide it left and right. It's one of the things I've been trying to counter from the beginning. Anyways, so at times I consciously shift between these two modes, output or input. And sometimes when the inputs are too overwhelming, I can get stuck in that mode. I'm getting too far lost. This is where I live now. That well, it's all around. You'll probably see more of it. Anyway, so Cassandra complex, dimensional seer. I don't. Uh, Dimensional seer may be misleading. I'm not very good with time. In fact, sometimes I feel like I'm waiting for the appropriate moment. Like the current message I want to send out there, the world isn't ready yet for, or as if my goal is just timing. But and I'm not going to claim to be able to explain my subconscious. I think I'm probably better at that than most people, but um, I just want to be clear about that if I'm going to speak with confidence, it's about conscious thoughts, not. So, in October of 2019, I made a video where I didn't show my face. I covered up with a mask, kind of like this one. It was a rainbow, uh, uh, like a puking rainbow cat mask. Anyways, I had ordered these just kind of on a whim. I thought they'd be interesting for this concept I kind of had. Um, Somewhat inspired by Home Improvement, The Neighbor, but even deeper than that, there's an old belief that you can't look at the face of God without being overwhelmed, and that the mouth of God, I don't know. There's something about not putting your hand into the mouth of God, or so as I'm trying to convey messages from my goddess from a different dimension, that I had this concept of this like mouth of truth thing. Um, that like I would conceal my mouth as I was speaking, uh, to help. I mean, what am I protecting? Am I protecting the goddess? Am I protecting the messenger? Am I protecting my mouth itself? I don't know. It's you know, again, I'm not going to try and explain my subconscious, at least as far as my conscious mind hasn't, you know, completely uh figured out, and this is already annoying me. Um so as I said, October 3rd, 2019. I'm looking at the data now. That video has 77 views right now. One comment. My previous video was September 19th, just a few weeks earlier, and that has twice as many views and three comments. Or sorry, yeah, three comments. The October video where I hide my mouth is called Disambiguation. And the previous video, which was half as long, was called a video response to a text comment. And Disambiguation had 2 likes, or currently has 2 likes, while a video response to a text comment has 3 likes. Anyways, I don't know why I'm comparing these numbers, but the point is, that somewhere between September 19th and October 3rd, 2019, I made a decision to stop showing my mouth at a minimum. And my conscious reasoning for this, again, was this abstract concept of the mouth of truth. And maybe I'm protecting myself from the perception of the Cassandra complex. Maybe yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm just trying to continue to destroy my channel with strange decisions. Yeah, who knows? But January 1st, 2021. So just October, November, December. 3 months later. Sorry, I said January 1st. January 9th. The World Health Organization announces the mysterious coronavirus-related pneumonia in Wuhan, China. January 20th, CDC says 3 airports will begin screening for coronavirus. January 21st, CDC confirms first U.S. coronavirus case. And I don't want to get into the data a lot. This video could be flagged or removed or whatever if I say something wrong. This isn't really meant to be a fact-based video. Do your own research, etc., etc. But of course, I am focusing on certain facts, but they're personal ones. And the point of all this was that I made the decision to cover my mouth on YouTube 3 months before the world knew about coronavirus, or that COVID-2, or SARS-CoV-2, COVID-19. So what? Coincidence, sure. Yeah, coincidence, yep. I said my reason, right? Some mouth of truth, something. I said that. I don't know. Um, so obviously that was my motive, right? And why would I retroactively? I don't. I don't know as I can disambiguate between signals from my subconscious mind and signals from my goddess. Um, she's using. I. She's using more parts of my brain than I'm aware that I'm using. I think that's. Anyways. It is not my hour. I I I chase coincidences and yeah, whim walk. Um okay, yeah, here it is. I posted at Barstool Sports tweeted a photo. Ukrainian woman marches up to armed Russian soldier and offers him sunflower seeds to put in his pocket so they'll bloom when he dies on their soil. This is some hardcore old hippie shit, and I liked it. And one of my Facebook friends, in response, shared a link to ebible.com. On a separate interaction, I had mentioned that I was reading a Christian website in support of my Heyoka shadow work, which I found ironic. But once I finished the article, I realized it didn't help me. It basically said, no, don't look at scary stuff. It was an article about Squid Game. Anyways, my hour has not yet come. John 2 4. 1 through 4. On the third day, there was a wedding at Cana in Galilee, and the mother of Jesus was there. Jesus also was invited to the wedding with his disciples. And Jesus said to her, Woman, what has this to do with me? My hour has not yet come. Jesus's mom wanted him to demonstrate a miracle to prove to the people that he was the Messiah and cast aside all doubts. And his response was, it is not yet my time. And he refused to perform a miracle there for the purpose of grandstanding, is what I want to call it. I don't know if I was gonna try and keep this short, and I have no clue. I'm using my phone. I have no clue how much space I have currently on my phone. It could cut me off at any second. Um, in fact, I have an SD card in there that it's not sensing currently, and I've just been ignoring it because I certainly don't want to reformat it or something. And I've been intending to insert it into something else to see if that will read it just fine, and if it's a phone problem, but I've been ignoring it. So, what? Okay, so, what's my point, huh? What is my point? thought I had tuber handy. I've been meaning to reveal tuber for years. Nobody really seems interested. Actually, I did give you some glimpses, some faint glimpses. There he is. This is tuber. I found him at a used, a resale shop. There's a selfie with tuber. That's kind of cool, and it reminded me a little bit of a Care Bear with the old Easter belly there. But anyways, I was looking for something cute to house my camera in, and I thought that this would work well. So my grandma and I did some surgery back here and hollowed out Tuber's brain, which I think is symbolically meaningful, in a shape that would, I don't have my camera handy, that would house my old camera, and so that it could be inserted with the lens sticking out. Come on, one of the eyes here. I know I'm kind of manhandling Tuber right now, but this is just an empty vessel. It's not like a living creature where I think its soul is housed here. I don't. I mean, if it has a soul, that's housed in my brain, right? Tuber's soul is in here, if there is one, or it's just the force. It's just out there, but certainly this is just like an empty container. If there's any awareness or intelligence, I would think you would associate it with the camera that's actually got the sensors responding to light and sound stimulus, and creating that record. It's maybe not a living entity, but it's a communication conduit. It's like a catalyst or anyway. So that's Tuber. I thought it was about time I did a face reveal for Tuber. And I should actually, like, at some point get the camera in and do an interview or something. I don't know, but so I'm not good with time. I call myself a dimensional seer, but certainly, and maybe I understand time more than a lot of humans, or have a broader view of it. I don't know. But 20 minutes. Oh, Gur has left us. I think I'm done grieving after a few months, at least enough that I don't break into tears when I think about her, so. Although that wasn't, like, all the time. Sorry, I thought I'd relax in my, my moist dissociation chamber. The lounging one, not the standing one or the Optional standing one. Uh, so what's my point? I'm trying to be somewhat more honest about what's going on in my head, at least. And that's probably all this video is stuff going on in my head. It's, for those of you scientific minded, logic minded, um, sure, I have peculiarities that go on up here, and I'm very careful that they don't influence the world in negative ways. Generally, I generally don't talk about this stuff to people, but in my day to day life, this specifically is an outlet for this. And I was this whole cadre thing. Did I must have said howdy cadre. It's so like habitual now that I can't even remember. But was I getting to something? Hashtag a cult. Probably the most influential subscriber of mine since Sadvipran time, said to me at one point, "I know you want a cult." And it threw me back, because that is very surfacey. I mean, if that's true, I've not worked towards that. I've undermined myself, if anything. But what I do want is to find my people, my cadre. And that doesn't mean like minded. That doesn't mean followers. That doesn't mean. But I already have a lot of them. People who I consider friends, even if I don't interact with them on a regular basis, even annual. Some friends have disappeared from my life for 5, 10 years and reappeared. And in fact, that's a pretty good definition of friend, is someone who you have a comfort with, and the amount of time that passes doesn't change your relationship so much. I mean, really true friends, behaviors, words, and disappearing don't change that much, because there's a human to human bond that underlines it. Anyways, I don't know how to wrap this up. I feel like it's the beginning of a 3-hour ramble. So, um, I person I don't even know if my memory serves me well on this, but personally, I think I've asked, directly or indirectly, I think I've asked 3 people to join. I don't even know how I worded it. My cult, hashtag a cult. See, well, God, I could talk about my Star Wars guild too. I should make a video about my Star Wars game, but Galaxy of Heroes and my guild. It's actually, well, it's 40% active people. maybe 40% people who play about weekly, and 20% people who play, you know, 1 to 3 times a month or whatever. Anyways, side tracks, distraction. So yeah, I could talk about Minecraft and the pandemic and you know, empty entertainment filling time. It's not. I mean, there's stuff that can be mined. Wow. Yeah, I crafted things that can be mined from those videos, but I'm not answering a call right now. Thank you, screen, for being silent. Um, what's my point? I don't even think I'm trying to impress you necessarily. Um, I've been dealing with the juggling of opposite interpretations for so long that I'm not very comfortable speaking emphatically and clearly, because this world is so complex, and anytime anybody simplifies, I mean, anti-reductionism was one of the main reasons I started this channel, and that's before so much got so politicized. Um, and I don't want to get distracted by all that, but I mean there's too much that could be talked about, and that I could have been talking about for the last 2 years. But again, to jump back to my profile pic, what can you say if you haven't? Not that you need to come to a conclusion to communicate. Certainly, that's part of being an artist. Is It's hard to know when a piece of art is done, and some artists will just do piece after piece and just push them out, and then they're gone from their mind at that point. Whereas other artists will have a certain piece that they revisit, resketch, repaint, whatever, for their whole lives, never satisfied. Um, and of course, successful artists are people who focus on self promotion and marketing, and but the artists we value the most in retrospect, like Vincent van Gogh or um, countless other artists, authors, a lot of them don't get discovered until, and especially poets. I'm thinking of Emily Dickinson here. A lot of them don't get discovered until after they're dead, because they have their art is for themselves in a way, or for their own humanity, or the um it may be for some of them their art is for the future, and they just feel like they're before their times. But I think for others, they internalize um their lack of success and just become recluses. Anyways, and I guess there is art I make for myself. In fact, I'm in the middle of making a tree in my room, and I've just stalled on it for a while. But the these used to be screwed on my wall, and I had done some weaving and stuff between them. But I'm trying to let me see if I can. Oh, that's already on. No, there it is. Okay. Um, these are freestanding, woven around. This is all a distraction. It's not important. But yeah, I just kind of stalled on it because when I'm doing stuff for myself, it doesn't matter as much. I was gonna start weaving. I think this is racket string. Um, Between the holes around them, so that it would hold it together better, because this bin is just warping. And the bin was already broken, but it's fracturing and fragmenting more. Anyways, I was gonna wrap it around, and so that's art that's for me. But YouTube, this is it's half for me. I'll say that. I like the idea of a record, and I think when I'm old, I may watch some of this stuff with interest, refresh memory, revisit some of the old thoughts, refresh some concepts in my head, whatever. Um, but I could be obviously doing all that on a hard drive, and it would be more private and secure if that was my only motive. So obviously, I'm trying to communicate with someone, um, and maybe that's you, maybe that's somebody in the future. Like I said, that could be myself in the future. Maybe things change dramatically, and I end up having children, and they're able to learn from me in this way.